Hello, my name is Sweet Medicine Nation. Yes, that's an unusual name. And I'm here to speak to you or to share a little bit of my insights around these times of complexity where we seem to be uncertain and have fear, and there's so many changes that we're having to adapt to. And for me, coming from an Indigenous perspective, I find that one of the things that is the greatest of anchorings and the best of a therapy, and also, in a sense, a healing, is to go into nature. To go where it's quiet, where birds are singing, which have a frequency that can heal. Running water, if that is part of the process of availability for you. Even sometimes sitting near a fountain and getting the ions from the water, or if you happen to be in a place where it's raining, to just go out, take your shoes off, stand in the rain, anchor yourself. We don't see, when I say we, I'm going to speak both generally to the population and also to those that come from an Indigenous base. All of us have forgotten that we had Indigenous roots. And those Indigenous roots, coming from a culture of our lineage, each one had their specific ways of living with nature. And I think understanding the greatest healer is the firstborn. And the firstborn from the Indigenous perspective is the earth itself. For us, it is our mother. And from a mother, of course, we all gain knowledge, education, comfort, nourishment, and protection. And the second then is to be with the living things like plants and trees that give us the oxygen. We're appreciative and we give thanks and make offerings, not only to the mother, but also to all the green growers and all the standing nation, the trees. And when we do that, when we're making reverence, if we're offering cornmeal, salt, cedar, tobacco in these different cultures and our ways, whatever it would be for you, what it does is it enacts a reverence of respect. And nature will always respond back to you in a very positive way. So you have to be aware that there's something that is alive and has its own sovereign energy. The third is to be where there are birds, which is more plentiful in a lot of places than wild animals. Like where I live in a national forest, I get to see deer, I get to see bobcats, cougars, I get to see river otters, I get to see beaver, ducks, elk. So each of us have this ability to go to nature. And it doesn't have to be in a forest. It doesn't even have to be in a park. You could just find some place that, we'll call it your special place. It could be in your backyard. And it could even be in a high rise on your balcony if you have plants there. Because the plants are about feelings. And if you had a box of sand or earth that you could even stand in, you can ground yourself. So these kind of opportunities are very important. Also, to have a positive thought. Instead of focusing on the lack of, or what you don't know is going to happen next, because fear is that. It is just not knowing what comes next. And it's the same thing of Christmas morning opening up a package or a birthday present. We don't know what's in there, but we're excited and we want to see what's there. So I call this an adventure. And sometimes these adventures take some courage. But my grandfather used to say, don't go home the same way twice, so that you don't get in a rut and you don't fall asleep with assumption. And he's very right. Automatically you can drive miles and go, oh, I don't know how I got here, I wasn't thinking, and have your mind someplace else. The other thing I believe is that knowing that there is a divine presence and a pantheon of ancestors, as well as guides and guardians that are with you all the time. We're never alone. And there is an innate and a beautiful way to interact with the unseen by addressing it, making offerings to the unseen, your ancestors, go to a grave of one of your ancestors. Take an orange, take some flowers, sit there and have a talk. Ask them to help you from the other side. It could be the original place of your grandparents where they were born or where they lived. But a lot of times we go to the homeland of our ancestors to acknowledge a thank you and a gratitude. So for me, I would like to say that these are priority steps, but the other part is to just get still and internally call your name. Just turn off the world, close the door, turn off the lights, and just start calling your name. And start filling yourself up from your feet first, moving up your body. Just keep calling your name, calling your name, calling your name, filling out your arms and your chest and your heart. Keep calling up into your throat and your head. And then you will feel this expansion take place. When we know who we are, it doesn't matter who else knows who we are, but it does matter that we do. Then we are solid. And from that place, our higher self, or maybe what you call your soul, or what the language of the soul is your intuition, will start guiding you, assisting you, and allowing you to not get caught up in fear. Some of the greatest things I've experienced has been in nature, unexpectedly. Encounters that normally I wouldn't have had I not gone out. An encounter with a rattlesnake in the Grand Canyon that was probably 8 feet long, about that thick. And it spoke to me and said, I am more afraid of you than you're afraid of me. I encountered a bear one time, and she just said, please don't harm my children. Will we be safe? Because I was tracking animals for the forest department. And I just conveyed to her as I backed up, I'm not here to harm, and your babies are really beautiful, so go on your way. So I would also say, if it's your way, I speak to spirit. Some people call that praying. But to me, the sun going down, the plants, the Mother Earth, the sky, all of this is my family. And like when we want to make a decision, when we want to talk about our plans, we convey our feelings about what we'd like to do. So I would say to you during these times that no man can tell us, no woman can tell us what we are to do, but our Nagi, our soul, our nature can. So I would encourage you to explore this. The human is the last born of species. And because of that, we have more foibles because we get to choose. We can choose to be fearful or not. So what would your choice be? I suggest you go to nature and find your own true nature and your true power. And if you need more, then I'll see you in another episode. Thank you for listening. I appreciate magic and the mystery of life, as we all do. So I give thanks for this moment to have this little chat with you and to share some of my thoughts.